Today can be the turning point in your life by making a simple decision.
Fundamental questions of navigation. Where am I? Where am I going? And how do I get there from here?
I invite the leaders of our planet to ask themselves these three questions before they make any crucial decisions.
But if you don't make decisions, you're going to stay right where you are.
We are all map makers.
We are in a time of transition.
If we're going to change, we have to change the direction that we're going.
Our planet needs leaders who know where they want to go.
When we change the direction we're going, then we want to make sure we're going in the right direction.
Leaders who can see the big picture.
Because if we're not, we're going to either go backwards or we're going to stay where we are.
Recognizing the psychological and the spiritual shifts and changes that need to be made, often from the inside to the outside.
To be able to shape your future, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm.
Complex journeys require navigation. The path to the truth is one such journey. This is your GPS. Hairstyling services provided by J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa, Palmdale Shopping Plaza, Madera Street. Accessories provided by Chevette Williamson Jewelry. Standout jewelry for standout women.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. I am your host, Michelle Malcolm, and as always, it's a pleasure to be in your company today. Thank you so much for tuning in. So, today we are going to do another Hot Topic show. And remember, tomorrow's open line. Today, everybody knows what the hot topic is. And that is immigration. Because yesterday we all were anticipating to hear what the Minister of Immigration would say, as he had promised, that he would answer all questions on Wednesday. So we were all waiting with bated breath to hear what he would have to say. And then lo and behold, he really didn't have to say anything because he didn't show up. Instead, a statement was issued. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. All of these new developments surrounding this controversy. So at the very beginning, let's throw out how you can be a part of the conversation. The telephone numbers to call: 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272 are the numbers to call. And then the WhatsApp line for calls and messages is 801-0271, 801-0271. We are streaming live on Facebook on the official Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM pages. You can also check us out on our YouTube channels. And speaking of channels, you can find us on Cable Bahamas channel 974. Or you can just download the Global 99.5 FM app to your smart device and check us out there. And last but not least, you can tune in via radio, Global 99.5 FM on the dial here in New Providence. And also welcome to our audience from Grand Bahama, the rest of the Family Islands, and those of you who are listening from around the world, wherever you're tuned in from. Thank you so much for making GPS a part of your afternoon routine. Okay, so the Minister of Immigration had promised that he would answer questions yesterday. And we were all, at least some of us, anxious to hear what he would have to say. And then lo and behold, instead of his physical presence and explanation, we started receiving statements and press releases and a bunch of written stuff. But the Minister of Immigration did not step forward to explain from his own words, or answer, I should say, all the questions that have been put forward as it relates to this whole series of unorthodox activity surrounding the Department of Immigration. So we're going to look at everything that was revealed during those statements. And I'd love to hear from you as to whether or not you're satisfied, whether or not that answers the questions for you, or whether or not it leaves you with more questions than before. We have a comment coming from Val, who says it ends with the scapegoat to save Keith Bell. Okay. I don't know what you mean by a scapegoat to save him. I don't know if you're trying to suggest that somebody's going to have to take the fall. I don't know. But anyway, let's begin today's show with the Prime Minister's response. Remember now, there are several things that came out. You had the Ministry of Immigration issuing a press release. You had the Prime Minister giving his response on the matter, a statement on the matter. You have the leader of the opposition who is giving his view on the statement. You have the former leader of the FNM giving his 5 cents on the matter. You have the chairman of the Progressive Liberal Party throwing his voice in it. So you may be hearing all kind of voices from all around the place. But the one voice that we thought we would hear from yesterday, we didn't hear from. Now, I find that rather interesting. Was he instructed to keep his mouth shut? Or was this a decision that he made on his own? I don't know. But anyway, it's neither here nor there. He did not make a statement to the House of Assembly, as we all thought that he would. So, we're going to begin with what the Prime Minister had to say as it relates to this ongoing saga. So let's start there. And we're going to pull this clip from, I believe it's R News. The clips that I'm going to be playing today are from both R News and Eyewitness News. But here now is what our Prime Minister had to say.
Amid the firestorm surrounding Immigration Minister Keith Bell, Prime Minister Philip Davis is breaking his silence on the matter. Davis says he's reviewing a recent statement from the Ministry of Immigration.
I'm concerned about the trust that the Bahamian people should have in our immigration process. We have to restore that confidence. I'll be looking at what has been said to see how we could strengthen our processes.
Now, that explanation not sitting well with Free National Movement leader Michael Pintard. He believes the Prime Minister is taking too long to address the issue.
He should answer, because right now, reputational damage is being done to the country.
The Ministry of Immigration and Labor released this statement seeking to clarify the matter. It reveals that Bell was in Miami and not Switzerland when he spoke to a dying man who asked him to swear his family in as citizens. The statement also says the Chinese nationals who were apprehended at the British Colonial Hotel and subsequently released following a call from Bell were in the country legally, adding the employers were in the process of applying for their work permits. It's a complete contradiction to this report from Immigration Director Keturah Ferguson, which states the department had no idea who the remaining individuals were or how they got into the country. Meanwhile, Coalition of Independents League and Bain isn't buying it.
For the government to say something opposite to that, it is clear that someone is lying. I don't think that the officer in charge, the honorable officer, would be lying. And so this is very concerning to us.
Last week, Bell said he would address this matter in Parliament today, but that didn't happen, and the statement was issued instead. Meanwhile, Pintar doesn't think the statement came from the ministry at all.
It is shameful that the Prime Minister has not caused to happen, and the Minister has not taken the responsibility to come to the House of Assembly to address this matter. This statement could not have come from a public servant. This came from the political directorate using the ministry as cover.
Okay, so let me read in its entirety the Prime Minister's statement. Okay, so you can get a fuller context of what he had to say. Prime Minister Philip Davis responds to concerns on immigration is the headline of the statement. It says, first, let me say that public trust in the enforcement of our immigration laws is not just important to me, but essential. I want to be absolutely clear about that. As you know, the opposition raised some questions in Parliament, and the Department of Immigration is releasing a statement to address those questions. It is my understanding that in many instances, the opposition's questions were based on wrong and inaccurate information. As an important aside, I want everyone to understand that when civil servants share the names and personal details of individuals from files in the custody of their department, they are in violation of the law, and they have breached the public trust. People who share their private information with the government of the Bahamas in departments across our ministries should be able to do so with confidence that they will not find their names being shouted at press conference or thrown around to score political points. Let's return at this moment to immigration. It is fundamentally important that Bahamians have confidence that every immigration matter is handled fairly in accordance with the law and in the best interests of the Bahamas and the Bahamian people. There has always been a substantial amount of ministerial discretion in the enforcement of immigration laws in our country and in other countries in the Westminster system. There are practical reasons for that, including the need for flexibility to respond to unique or complex situations and the need to respond to new and changing circumstances without requiring constant legislative changes. And of course, that discretion operates within a system of checks and balances to promote fairness and due process. But just because a system has always operated a particular way doesn't mean it can't be strengthened or improved. As you have heard me say on many occasions, I didn't come here to defend the status quo. I came here to change it. When there are ways to improve governance, we are going to modernize the system instead of maintaining it. You saw that earlier today with the historic introduction of legislation to make our Parliament an independent branch of government, which will increase accountability and strengthen the representation of the people. I have had a lot of conversations with Bahamians in recent weeks about immigration, and I want to let you know that I hear you. I hear your concerns about how things work in this country and intend to address them. I am announcing today that we will undertake a comprehensive review of the checks and balances regarding how immigration decisions are made, with a view to strengthening them. Every Bahamian deserves to have confidence that the rules promote efficiency, fairness, and accountability to the greatest extent possible. That's a statement in its entirety from our Prime Minister that was issued with regard to this whole controversy. Okay. Meanwhile, you will have heard reference in that soundbite about the ministry making a statement of its own, or issuing a statement of its own. So let's now go to a news clipping about what the ministry had to say. And then we're going to talk about this some more before we dive into what the opposition is saying about this all.
Would the Honorable Minister of Immigration kindly inform this Honorable House of the date in June 2023 and the time that he received a call from Mr. Racine? Obviously, Racine was dead, so he can receive a call from a dead man. Racine was dead, who had been dead since May 29 during his trip to Switzerland in June of this year.
It's a question that Immigration Minister Keith Bell did not answer directly in a release on immigration concerns raised. According to the statement released by government, at the time in question, the minister was in fact in Miami and not in Switzerland as previously stated in ERA. That ERA, though, still not seemingly answering the questions, as Frank Racine, the man at the heart of the controversy, died on May 29th. Bell would have been in country on the 31st for the budget and attending a labor conference in Switzerland during the first week in June. So the question remains, when exactly did Bell receive that phone call? As Bell's actions continue to be questioned, PLP Chairman Fred Mitchell is coming to Bell's defense, making these charges against Minnis.
Tell Dr. Minnis and his questions in the House of it, go sit down. Answer the 260 questions he left on the order paper before he left office, then we can pay attention to him.
The Foreign Affairs Minister also providing an explanation regarding immigration matters raised.
There's a video note circulating purporting to be that of the voice of the Minister for Immigration giving the instruction to one Faustine Major Smith, who, best I know, is a high official in immigration. It is being used by the FNM to suggest misbehavior in public office. In fact, it demonstrates the contrary. It shows the rules were followed. But inquiring minds have a question, and that question is, how does a private note from a Minister of Immigration to officials in immigration get into the hands of the FNM? Only two plausible ways, the Minister or the immigration official. Clearly, the Minister would have no interest in doing so, so the question to the official should be, how did it get into the public domain? This is quite serious, though, when a minister cannot rely on his conversations with public officials being private and confidential.
Minister Bell's statement also sought to address these concerns raised by opposition leader Michael Pintard during a press conference on Sunday.
Persons are sworn in as citizens without renouncing other citizenship as the law requires. Approvals are granted oftentimes without interviews being conducted. 3, approvals are granted without proper documentation. Applications are made and approvals granted while applicants are detained at the detention center. Approvals are granted to individual employers who are listed as facilitators and had more than 10 workers or work permits but have no business license in most cases.
But in his statement, Bell had this explanation to those accusations. Bell said it is important to note that there are categories under the Nationality Act that allow individuals to be sworn in without renouncing other citizenships. He went on to argue that the approval of applications while persons are detained is not illegal, while noting that there have been many occasions when individuals have been arrested while an application is pending. The immigration minister also revealing that an individual who was intercepted on a boat attempting to smuggle into the United States of America was charged, convicted, restricted, and that individual's work permit was denied 3 times and was never approved. Now, Bell says government remains committed to transparency, due process, and the rule of law in all immigration matters, and maintaining an immigration system that is efficient and fair and respects the rights and dignity of all individuals. Jose Etienne, Eyewitness News.
So there are a couple of questions here. Clearly, the question surrounding when Minister Bell would receive the call from the late Mr. Racine was not answered. Okay? And that's a very important question that needs to be addressed, quite frankly. But that was conveniently not answered. What was said was, oh, I wasn't in Switzerland at the time, I was in Miami. Okay, all right. But when did you receive the call? Because based on the timelines from previous statements, the man would have been dead by the time you received the call. So we just need some clarity there, really. And this whole thing of, well, you know, I don't hear what this one got to say because he answered no questions when he was there. It's true, he didn't answer any questions. That's true. And you all should deal with him from then. But that don't change the fact that we have some questions now that need clarification. That's the first thing. The second thing is, with regard to the Chinese nationals, they're saying that they were here legally, but yet admitting that their work permits were being processed while they were here in the country. That's not how it works. The last time I checked, work permits were to be processed according to our law prior to the person's arrival in the country. So these responses that we have been receiving are leaving us with more questions than answers. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Good day, Michelle. How are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. You know, this thing, it leaves more questions than answers.
Mm-hmm.
Everything you said, I agree with your analysis so far. And I feel, to tell you the truth, I listened to what the Prime Minister, I read a bit of what he said, what is going on, what's happening as far as an investigation.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, there has to be checks and balances. Minister Bell, this is not his first ride at the rodeo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? He was in that same spot before. Right? So I can see maybe you may see some of the rookie ministers or whatever messing up or whatever. There are procedures and there are rules. In reference to I'm not going to begin to try and go through those dates, that date, mix them with the dead man and all that foolishness. But the Chinese issue, when you deal with that amount of persons, if an immigration or goes and checks them and they don't have said work permit, it is their job, their duty, to collect them, to round them up. The same way you round up everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
It's documented. And then you do you process them. If the whatever, like they said, I guess the work permits were on order, right? Until you have those things in your hand, the officials, you hold them. That's why we have a detention center. There's a process. You understand me? So I don't want to hear. I heard the response from the hotel, from the Chinese or whatever, the people.
Oh, we're gonna get to that as well. But go ahead.
Right, but see, that has nothing to do with rules and regulations and the process. And I'm sure it happened before, many times before. Mm-hmm. The point is, you were in that seat now. You're supposed to be there making a difference and doing what you're supposed to do as the minister. You promised us that you were going to come in Parliament and you're going to answer all of the questions. I was looking forward to hear it. Okay.
So was I.
Okay, you sent a statement, which confuses persons more because a lot of us don't like to take our time and read anything anyway, right? So we would have preferred hearing these things. If you truly believe in conviction, which you did, that you did nothing wrong, what you did, you went by the book. You did, or you can explain why, I guess, preference or whatever was made in that particular instance. Stand on 10 toes and explain it and stand your ground. You understand? Some of us may not have liked the answers, but we would have felt as if respected that you came and you tried to give us an explanation. That's what I have to say about the minister. And for that, I don't think Minister Bell, I think he's capable of sitting in another role. He still has much to offer. However, in that particular department, I don't think he should be there anymore. Now, in reference to our Prime Minister, yes, I heard him. Yes, I heard when he's with this investigation. This investigation number one this is now. There's so many investigations, and we never seem to come to some sort of result. And I think if the Prime Minister, like he said, he is deeply troubled. He is deeply bothered. He understands how the Bahamian people feel. Because trust me, Michelle, this goes across party lines with this issue.
It does.
PLP, F&M, CDR, whatever. This is a Bahamian thing. And we are all concerned about this. So therefore, he says he understands how we feel about this. And he's troubled by, that's why he called this investigation. Okay, Mr. Prime Minister, I hear you. I believe you. Okay, now, if you as the Prime Minister, with your trusted colleagues in Cabinet, if you are this deeply concerned about the Ministry of Immigration, Department of Immigration, that minister who you appointed as Immigration Minister you should ask him, or you should relieve him of his duties as Minister of Immigration, replace him. I'm not saying take him out of the cabinet, let him stay in Labour. But that ministry, because it's obvious, Mr. Bell, like Mr. Bell, okay? But I feel as if he has lost control, support, he has lost control. Somewhere the wheels start to fall off. And he has lost control. And right now, with immigration being in a crisis, we have a crisis in immigration before this whole thing started up. Right. Therefore, it's beyond his control, I feel. Okay? And I think he has to step down as and I'm saying this with deep conviction, and it hurts me to say this, but he needs to step down because immigration is something that affects all of us in this country. And another thing, too, this Chinese issue, 63 Chinese, this mix up with the Chinese. Remember, the United States of America has issues with relationships our relationship with the Chinese. Anyhow, they're watching this. They're watching us. So we have to be this thing can spiral out of control into an international situation. So, people are not just the Bahamian people are watching what the Prime Minister is going to do about this. Everybody is watching because this is so touching. And like I said, I don't know what the process is or how they do it, how they used to do it or whatever. But right now, you are the Prime Minister. You are in charge of this country. And Mr. Minister Bell, right now, he's up. The water is coming up on him. The water is starting to drown him. And you have to get him out of that water and put someone else there. There are a lot of competent persons who can deal with, who can handle that position. And right then we have the Haitian situation. We have the labor situation. We have the Chinese situation. We have so many issues going on with immigration. The shantytown situation. There needs to be someone right now who can get Mr. Bell, get him out of there, and put someone else in charge of that. But we still want to hear serious, 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 serious responses, and not just an investigation, Mr. Prime Minister. We want results from this because you are concerned about this the handling of this situation. So if you are concerned, if this is giving you sleepless nights, you can sleep like a baby. Get Minister Bell out of that ministry. Thank you, Michelle.
Thanks for calling. Here's the thing. I've heard it said since this controversy broke, well, this is nothing new. This is the way that this is operated under previous administrations. The thing is, the reason why that's not a sufficiently acceptable thing to say, for the most part, for the rest of us, is because, and all governments seem to do this, when you were in opposition, complained about what was wrong and promised the electorate that you should be given a chance to make the wrongs right, to correct the wrongs. So it's not sufficient for you now that you have been granted the trust of the Bahamian people, for you to come now and say, well, that's just the way it goes. This has been going for a little while now. And the previous administration, anybody trying to hear that? Because the reason you sit in the seat is because you convinced the masses, or at least the majority of voters in the masses, that you were going to make a difference when you get there. And this isn't being directed to any one individual. I'm talking to all y'all politicians. All of y'all. You won because you were able to convince sufficient voters that you would make a difference for the better once you were given that opportunity to sit in that seat. So don't come around here now talking about, well, this is what happened under previous administrations and, this is just the way it's done. No, we ain't trying to hear that. Because you said you were going to make it better. And like I said, they all do it. I heard Menace say something the other day about the current administration complaining about the port deal as relates to the port, the downtown Welcome port. But if they thought it was so bad, they didn't have any problem going out there and cutting ribbon. That's true. But I could say the same thing to you, Mr. Menace. Because if you recall, with Bahama, you was all around the place saying it wasn't a real deal and it ain't gonna happen. Remember that? But yet, when you were in government, you was right there, crease up cutting ribbon for something what you say was going to happen. So they all do it, is my point. They all do it. And quite frankly, I know the rest of y'all, but I tired of this. Because the reason you sit in that seat, and again, I ain't talking to one individual, I'm talking to all of y'all. The reason you sit in that seat is because you convince sufficient number of people that you should be given a chance to improve the system, to make it better. So it's not sufficient for you to come now and say, well, this is just the way it goes under previous administrations. This is how it ain't nobody trying to hear that. Even if it's true, ain't nobody trying to hear that. Especially not with this issue of immigration, because right now Bahamian people are fed up on this particular issue, especially. So we ain't trying to hear that. So we're going to take a break, and then on the other side of this break, we're going to continue to talk about this continuing saga of operations at the Department of Immigration actions, unorthodox and otherwise, by the Minister of Immigration and what this means going forward for our country. Stay with us. This is GPS. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 Hyperimmune Egg Powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, tints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Trackline, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires, cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Longevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun.
Welcome back to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm here in your company on this overcast and rainy Thursday afternoon. We are talking today about this ongoing immigration saga. The numbers to call, 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272, and the WhatsApp line for calls and messages is 8010271, 8010271. We are streaming live on Facebook, on the official Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM pages, as well as on our YouTube channels. You can check us out on Cable Bahamas Channel 974 or download the Global 99.5 FM app to your smart device and check us out there. And you can also listen in by way of radio. Thank you to all of you who are tuned in here in New Providence, as well as Grand Bahama and the rest of the family islands. And a huge welcome to all of you who are watching or listening from outside the Bahamas. JT is on the line. JT, what you saying?
God bless you, Michelle. I'm right here, pretty good. Thank God for life.
For sure.
And thank God for the rain, eh?
Oh, it's cooled things down a little bit. This is a good thing.
Yes, indeed. Thank God for that.
Yeah.
Michelle, to jump right in, first of all, as a Bahamian, I never supported our country establishing diplomatic ties with the People's Republic of China.
Mm-hmm.
And it was because of the way they treat their people. The Tiananmen Square massacre of those college students in China in the 80s really, really opened my insight, enlightened me as to how they really treat their people. So I never liked them dealing with them because of the fact that they're communists. Now that being said, Michelle, the question I will have to ask is the Chinese citizenry being allowed by our government to get away with the things that they're doing and getting away with in this country because of all of the funds that China may have already donated to or invested in this country?
I don't think I agree with that because what funds?
No. I'm not making a statement. I'm asking.
I know. I'm just saying. I'm answering you. Here's why I don't think that is the case. Because if that's the case, why they bend over backward to accommodate Haitians who they ain't contributing to the economy?
But you see, the concern that I have here, Michelle, is number one, Haiti is not as much of an economic partner with the Bahamas as China has become or allowed to become.
Right.
And to me, that scares me. Okay? I mean, not that Haiti isn't like that. I mean, the fact that China is, it scares me as a Bahamian. Okay? But my thing is, and I know some years ago there was another incident with some Chinese, either they were fishing or something, and that matter was let go. I think it was either on the minister or Mr. Christie, I'm not sure. But the thing is, any grouping of nationals in this country ought never to be allowed to get away with anything, no matter what their country, what type of relationship their country of origin may have with our country.
Right.
Because the law of our country is the law of our country. So, Michelle, excuse me, if indeed, and I don't know these things for a fact, so I'm not making any accusations. I'm only asking probing questions. If indeed our government is doing these things, allowing China to get away, or to do the things that they're doing because of all of the monies China's invest here. If indeed China did sit down and negotiate some things with this country that may be compromising our government, again, I'm only asking out of curiosity, intellectual curiosity, and I dare say you and me as the Bahamian people, we need to demand full disclosure, not just on the China situation, mind you, but I'm using them as a very real and troubling example. Any relation with any country that our country is in, you and I, as the taxpayers and the collective bosses of those in power, ought to know. And every detail. Because at the end of the day, if things go wrong because of decisions governments make, you and me, the citizenry, are going to suffer. Not just them. And a lot of them get jump on a private plane or boat and run out of town. And the other thing, too, Michelle, is that Nationality Act. When I heard that comment just a bit ago and that you played, I said, wow.
That's what they hiding behind.
Professor Sidney,
you know you can call in a minute, right?
You and the supports that you have we got to now stand up and sue the government of the country to remove, to repeal, to get rid of that Nationality Act. It is contrary to the Constitution of the Bahamas. It's unconstitutional. Anyone who had been granted citizenship under that is illegal, or rather unconstitutionally done. Because as you and Professor kept saying many times, our Constitution does not allow anybody. You got to renounce. And anyway, and I won't get too deep into that point. But my concern, Michelle, simply is, oh boy, the Westminster system as we have it really needs to change. And see, Minister Bell may be in hot water today because by virtue of the powers under the Westminster system, he was given too much power. Any individual minister who finds him, her, or herself in hot water like that can only look back at the fault of the system, because this very system that put them in a position to cause them, intentionally or not, to do things that they should not do because they have in their ministerial capacities ultimate decision-making power. It's wrong, Michelle. And a lot of people abuse power if they think they can get away with it. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely, as the saying goes. Who just said that in Parliament the other day? I think it was Minister Lerota, Pinewood MP. But Michelle, if we are going to be a nation of laws, as we ought to be, and if we're going to be functioning on Christian values as we ought to be, Michelle, it must be transparent and it must be universal. Every Bahamian government otherwise must know and abide by every law in this country. So all I can say, and I'll conclude on this note, no matter what China may or may not have done, no matter what the Haitians or Haiti may or may not have done, this ain't any of them countries. This is the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Let us live and govern ourselves as an independent people who have rules and regulations by which we govern. If people aren't willing to abide by them, invite them to leave. Indeed, take them out of here and send them back home. Thank you, my dear.
Thanks for calling. The thing is, a key component in this whole controversy is the fact that they are hiding behind that Bahamas Nationality Act. Now, there's some other irregularities that are glaring. Like, you're supposed to be out of the country when an application is being processed for a work permit. So trying to justify that they were here legally, even though their work permit was being processed, it doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense, because according to your law, they're supposed to be out of the country while that application is being processed. So to say on the one hand that they were here legally and then admit that their application was being processed while they were here, the two do not agree. The two do not measure up. They don't come together. There's a really interesting article written by Kentia Dames in today's Guardian. And the heading is Immigration Ministry in Conflict on Chinese. Ministry claims Chinese nationals were illegal. Officer who headed operation found otherwise. And so the article goes on to say, though the immigration officer who headed the operation that led to the initial apprehension of a group of Chinese workers in January found that 3 of them who had passports were shown to be in the country illegally, the Ministry of Labor and Immigration claimed yesterday the group was in the country legally, but at the same time acknowledged the Chinese were working on the British Colonial Hotel site without work permits. So the two don't mix. That's like trying to mix oil and water. If you say they were here legally, then how is it that they were here working without work permits? The last time I checked, that was not legal. Okay, that's the first beginning, first problem. The article continues. The January 18, 2023 report of the Chief Immigration Officer who was preparing to transport the 65 Chinese nationals from the British Colonial Hotel, where they were found, to the detention center, stated that one of the individuals had overstayed approximately 9 months, another overstayed approximately 4 months, and the third individual, who had a Chinese passport, overstayed approximately 24 days. The remainder of the subjects could not produce any documents to prove their identity. The report has been in the public domain and published in the media since Tuesday without any authority refuting its authenticity. The Chinese nationals were all released after the Minister of Immigration, Keith Bell, gave the directive, according to the Director of Immigration, Keturah Ferguson, who wrote Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Labor and Immigration, Cecilia Strawn, on January 18, 2023, about Bell's directive and expressed that it was, quote, very disconcerting when directives of this nature are continuously received, end quote. So that would give one the impression that this was not the first time that such a thing has happened. This is just the first time it's gone public in such a way. But when you see that word continuously received, it gives the impression that this ain't the first time something like this has happened. Now, this is a problem because, like I said earlier, the challenge that many of us have is that you were elected to clean it up, not to continue the dirty activities, alleged dirty activities of what seems to be a problem department. And we've all heard the horror stories about what goes down in the Department of Immigration as it relates to alleged acts of paying people under the table to get things done. We've all heard that. We've all heard it. But when you're going to have a high-ranking official within the department saying it is very disconcerting when directives of this nature are continuously received, there's a problem here. There's a problem. Because it gives the impression that this ain't nothing new, that this is something we've been dealing with. I don't know if it was a wise idea for Bell not to, as he promised, answer questions in the House of Assembly yesterday. I don't know if he was advised against doing so. I really don't know. But I will tell you this. It don't look good. It don't look good that you didn't show up to provide these answers as you said you would. It don't look good that in statements that were presented, you still ain't answered some key questions. You just scrape around them. It doesn't give off a very pleasant smell. There's a lot of unpleasantry here as it relates to the impressions that are being given by this whole mess. And that's what it is. It's a mess. I don't care how you try to justify all of this. This is a mess. Call it for what it is. This is a mess. And it stinks. And the actions and responses that were given, albeit written, were not, in my view, sufficient to get rid of the stench. Now, y'all out there might feel a little different than I do on that. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I just don't think that by not, and again, maybe he was advised not to do so based on the facts surrounding the matter. I don't know. But I don't think that by not showing up, Mr. Bell did himself any favors yesterday. Even if you had walked into the house, read your statement, and then walk out, that would have been better than not saying anything at all, just hiding behind this statement, which clearly doesn't answer a lot of the key questions surrounding this controversy. You all have to understand that there are people in this country who think, yes, there are people who are politically driven. We are all well aware of that. Politics plays a very big role in much of what takes place in this country. I'm not naive enough to believe that there is not some political plot behind all of this in terms of going for your jugular, Mr. Bell. But like I said before, they wouldn't have anything to go for if you wasn't giving them the ammunition to go for it. And that's the problem. That is the problem. That you supplied them with this ammunition. And now, everybody trying to scamper and run and hide behind that Nationality Act, when we all know that based on what we have learned about the Constitution, that is in direct contradiction to what is written in your supreme law. So yeah, it ain't, it ain't looking, I don't know. Let me read a couple of your comments and then we're going to go to another break. So this one is coming from Siobhan, who says, question is, who is the Minister of Immigration representing? I have never seen such blatant disrespect for the populace. She continues, some of these leaders seemingly operate at a high level of dishonesty. Can a Bahamian work or reside illegally in China or elsewhere? D'Amico says only 3 of the let me go to the next. So only 3 of the 65 persons had identification, which all showed that they overstayed their welcome. Well, we don't even know when they reach. The authorities and the department say they have no idea when these people get here. How? So it goes even further than that. This is just absolute madness. D'Amico says, whenever you enter a country legally, immigration stamps a record of entry in your passport and you are given a timeline to be there. This is true. But if you even ain't got no passport on you to show who you are, we can't check to see when it was stamped or whether it was stamped. So there are too many, questions that still need to be answered as it relates to this. Too many. And I'm sorry, but most people are not convinced based on statements that have been put out. Because some key questions were not answered in those statements. We're going to take a break. On the other side of the break, we will continue this conversation of looking at the continuing saga of this immigration situation. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
Your body's immune system is under constant pressure from things like stress, lack of exercise, and toxins in the environment. It's crucial to be proactive and support your immune system with the nutrients it needs to function effectively. But it's often hard to get these nutrients from food alone. Introducing fast-acting Zinc Plus Immune Support by Longevity. Unlike zinc-only supplements, Zinc Plus Immune Support builds on the proven power of zinc and adds complementary nutrients to give your immune system extra support. Vitamin D helps balance the effects of zinc, while our proprietary blend of natural fruit and root extracts provides the extra help your immune system needs to work against daily stressors. And we've included Longevity's exclusive plant-derived minerals to give your body the minerals it needs, but can't get from food alone. And because Zinc Plus Immune Support is delivered in a great-tasting, sugar-free, berry-flavored lozenge, it encourages quicker absorption of all these nutrients into your body. Zinc Plus Immune Support. Zinc plus the extra support your body needs to promote a healthy immune system. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, paints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Glasses love.
It's gotten harder and harder to get your daily requirement of vital nutrients from food alone. Without additional vitamin and nutrient support, your health and well-being can suffer drastically. That's why Z-Radical was specifically formulated. It combines a blend of antioxidant-rich vitamins, minerals, and botanicals with the protective powers of fucoidan to help fill the gaps from lack of nutrients in your foods. The core of Z-Radical is fucoidan, a naturally occurring polysaccharide that helps stimulate immune reaction, protecting you against inflammation and oxidative stress. We harvest this powerful mineral-rich nutrient from brown seaweed, harvested only from the world's most pristine ocean waters to ensure the purest quality. It's then extracted using cold process technology to ensure maximum levels of bioavailability. Then we add essential vitamins that help to protect your cardiovascular and nervous systems and are crucial for optimal immune and neurological function. Z-Radical also includes a proprietary blend of delicious antioxidant-rich fruits and berries. This great-tasting combination helps your body combat free radical imbalances that can contribute to a variety of degenerative conditions like arthritis and heart disease. Z-Radical. Experience the power of fucoidan with antioxidant-rich berries, 8 essential vitamins, and more to provide you with potent health benefits. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Point 5.
Welcome back to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm here in your company on this overcast but cooler Thursday afternoon. We're treating this as a Hot Topic Thursday, and the hot topic is immigration. Telephone numbers to call: 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272. The WhatsApp line for messages and calls is 801-0271, 801-0271. We're streaming live on Facebook on the official Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM pages. If you haven't already done so, please like and share the show. You can also find us on our YouTube channels, and you can check us out on Cable Bahamas Channel 974 or download the Global 99.5 FM app to your smart device and check us out there. Welcome to you all listening by way of radio, whether it be here in New Providence, in Grand Bahama, the rest of the Family Islands, or anywhere else in the world. Welcome to you all. So on this Hot Topic Thursday, we are talking about the ongoing saga of Keith Bell and the Department of Immigration. This is getting curiouser and curiouser as the days go by. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome, Jake.
And then dial your operator.
Okay, I think we lost that caller. Caller, please call back if you can. All right, so let me read a couple of comments. These comments now that I'm about to read are coming in via our WhatsApp line. It says, if immigration did not know who the persons were, how could they have been processed? That's a very good question. Um, Very good question. I don't have the answer for that. Another comment says the PM does not seem troubled enough because he has not moved against Bell. The question is, did the whole cabinet call in favors from Bell so they protect him? Again, that is a comment coming in by way of WhatsApp. Okay, the caller is back. Hello, caller, and welcome to GPS.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Malcolm.
Good afternoon.
Oh, good afternoon. I hope you're all right. Jehovah, God bless you. Bless your family.
God
This
bless
is
you,
Ken
too.
Allen for Freeboard. I missed a call because, you know, the last time you the professor called me stupid. So stupid. But anyway, I called the talk with Mr. Keith Bell. Now, if you, Miss Malcolm, if you could go back, you had a caller on the show which said Keith Bell, the immigration minister, might have then had no choice. We don't know what him and that man had deal on. I heard the man was rich, so the man might have had some kind of thing on him where he forget my job, my life, where he had to do that, and risk that because he had to do that before the man go down in the grave.
You
Because
say you heard the man was rich?
I mean, I don't know if the man was rich or not, Mom.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't.
Okay, well, it don't matter if he was rich or not. We don't know what relationship him and Mr. Keith Bell had. Maybe it's a vow that he took, that he had to do that it would have been his life. You know what I mean? It go deep. So how they do it, he had to stay up before he made this woman nationality as a Bahamian, and before they put him down. You got to think about that too, what the caller said. And having sense and being smart, Miss, is something more good, because if he gonna risk his career and do this blatant thing, it had to be something deep, what we don't understand. Thank you.
Well, you know, caller, that's neither here nor there, because the ministry is not his personal playground. It is not his personal possession where he could use it to benefit himself, whether somebody had something on him or not. We have laws for a reason. So whether or not this man had something on him or was threatening him or whatever, I really don't care. Because that ministry, that department is not his personal toy that he could just use willy-nilly to settle scores or whatever. And I'm not saying that is in fact what happened. We don't know. We don't know what made this man so special that he was granted citizenship to begin with, and then that this promise was made to him that his wife and children would be sworn in. We don't know the circumstances as to why this man had so much favor with the minister. Quite frankly, I don't care. Because we have rules and regulations and laws for a reason. That ministry is not your personal possession that you could use as a bartering agent to help you out of scrapes or whatever. So I don't care. And no right thinking person cares if that was the case or not. You don't get to use a government agency to help you with personal matters. That's not how this thing goes. So I really don't care if that was the case or not. I don't care. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Mitchell.
Yes, sir.
Did you hear Fred Mitchell voiced out yesterday morning?
I didn't hear the whole thing. I need you to turn down whatever you're listening to us on because it's giving feedback.
Anyway, he told Keith Bell it wouldn't be beneficial for him to go on in the House Assembly, and he told him to let the Prime Minister take care of that. Remember when he say, sometimes I know how to hold them and fold them, that Kenny Rogers gambling song?
Okay.
That's what he said in this voice, though.
Okay. So maybe he was taking advice from him. Please turn on your radio, whatever you're listening to us on.
He went to the Prime Minister.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but obviously there's some things to this whole situation that the general public is not aware of. And maybe they figured based on what they know that it was best for him not to say nothing. I don't know. I don't know. But all I'm saying is it don't look good. And they know why they advising him not to say nothing. Please turn your radio down or whatever you're listening to us on. We're getting feedback. All right? You still there? Okay, Jason, disconnect that person, please. I'm not sure why we're getting that feedback. Anishka says, I am amazed to see how calm the PM is handling this immigration crisis. I salute the patriotic, honest whistleblowers, and I thank God for them. Bahamians are realizing just how untrustworthy the PLP and FNM government officials are. Anishka also says if he wasn't a government official, he would have already been arrested. Nico says, do you know if a judicial review has ever been launched against any government in our nation's history? I do not know. I cannot say one way or the other. Anushka says, Keith Bell and Francine were friends of Ruby George. That's the connection. It still don't explain to me why he deserved any special favors. Frank McKinney says, everyone excuse, they will try. Sandra says, seems to me like all our ministers are very familiar with the foreign era than the Bahamian people who put them in power. Okay. We have another call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Hello.
Hi, you're on the air.
Hello.
Hello, you're on the air.
Yeah. Hi, Michelle. I just want to say that we are in a hot mess in this country. When you look at both political parties, they are guilty of the same thing. And all they're doing now is talking on themselves. And I find that the Prime Minister is handling this thing too casual. He needs to have a cabinet shuffle or fire Bell immediately, and let's get on with this country's business.
Okay. Thank you so much for giving us your opinion on the matter. Thank you for calling. All right. I want to read a couple more of your comments coming in. These by way of WhatsApp. One of them says, Michelle, the biggest barrier to change is the attitude. This is the way it's always been done. We voted for change, a new day, not the same old day. That's a message coming in by way of WhatsApp. Another one says, how many times are we going to hear previous governments did this or that? When are the Bahamas going to have someone that changes this concept? Bahamians need to stop accepting these arguments. We blacks wanted to govern ourselves. In my opinion, the Bahamas would have been better off with the British. The elites kept the black people on the plantation. The ties to the old way of governance must be broken. I strongly dislike all that governments and by extension politics has done to the Bahamas. This can't go on forever. Well, caller, I agree with no dogma staying under the British, because under the British, plenty things went down that were not beneficial to the Bahamas and the Bahamian people, but we had no choice in the matter because we were subjects. With all of its challenges and problems, the Bahamas still, I believe, has much to celebrate by way of independence. It's not perfect, no, but being under British rule as a subject, as a colony, would not have been better for us. We have a, is there another call on the line? Yes? No? Yes. Okay, let's go to the caller. I'm not hearing anything, Jason.
Hello?
Okay, now we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Lady Malcolm, good afternoon.
Same to you.
Listen to that text, though. I say we might as well be under the British. Maybe they may have a point, because with when it comes to black leaders, they say, "Woe be unto a nation when a slave becomes king. And boy, since the Linden been and gone, we've been catching it. We had some house Negroes that been to the top of the mountain, and man, since we've been catching it ever since. But my purpose for calling today, Lady Malcolm, I would like to personally, as a proud Bahamian, even although I don't like the direction my nation is going, but I'm not proud of that. To commend Mrs. What's your name, Ferguson? The director of immigration. Miss Keturah Ferguson. I would love as a Bahamian to commend her and her second in command for standing, for holding, to be the gatekeepers of this country. Whether they was doing bad in the past or not, at least they took a stand. One day you got to stop and get it right. And I would like to personally commend them on GPS today for standing for their country and for Bahamians. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks for calling. Just for the record, just because that's the name that appeared on that document doesn't mean that that was the person who actually leaked the document. I think it's important to point that out. We don't know who leaked the document. But I agree with you, caller, that at least internally, she had the fortitude to stand up and say, on record, I do not agree with this. This is not right. I agree with you. That takes courage. And I don't think that, she was the one who leaked it, but I don't know. I guess we'll never find out who leaked the document. But I do agree with you that she at least stood up on record within the organization to say that she did not agree with what was being done. And that I agree with you, but that she's to be commended. Okay, so the Chinese are the persons who are, hold on, let me pull it up. Let me pull this information up. The British Colonial Hilton Hotel, the British Colonial Hotel is responding to what they call unfounded accusations concerning immigration status of workers. And I will go ahead and read that statement in its entirety. Again, this is coming from the British Colonial Hotel. Strategic Property Holding, the owner of the British Colonial Hotel, wishes to express its grave concern regarding recent unfounded accusations made concerning the immigration status of our workers at the British Colonial Hotel. We denounce these slanderous allegations and are deeply shocked by such claims. We unequivocally affirm that all our workers at the British Colonial Hotel operate under a heads of agreement for the British Colonial renovation, and we are in compliance with all applicable Bahamian law. For over 15 years, Strategic Property Holding and its affiliates have always been and continue to be a proud part of the Bahamas' economic development, as demonstrated by our significant investments in projects such as the Point and the British Colonial. We created construction job opportunities for the local contractors and vendors during the British Colonial renovation, and we commit to meeting the government's deadline to open the British Colonial Hotel this winter despite these unwarranted distractions. We anticipate the British Colonial Hotel will create another 300 permanent jobs for the people of the Bahamas, and this is part of our continued commitment to creating job opportunities for Bahamians, to contributing positively to the social and economic fabric of the country, and to doing business legally and transparently. That is a statement coming in from the owners of the British Colonial Hotel Strategic Property Holding. Something interesting said there about them acting within the confines of the agreement, the heads of agreement. But I don't know whether or not our heads of agreement can trump what is written in Bahamian law. I don't think that it can. Let's go to, we have a call on the line? Call on hold. Yes, caller, welcome to GBS.
Yes, Miss Malcolm, I just want to clarify to the Bahamian people. The Prime Minister and everybody said Mr. Keith Bell was under his rights to grant him. He was never illegal or in breach because it been done in a lot of places. So the argument is not that he did something wrong. And maybe how he do it, but in legal term, he was in all his rights to do it. They
Well,
already said it. So I just want to clarify.
what some of us are saying is he was in his rights according to some aspects of what happened based on the Nationality Act. But other things of what happened even aren't covered by the Nationality Act. And we do know that the Constitution of the Bahamas trumps the Nationality Act. And according to the Constitution of the Bahamas, some of what was done was not on the up and up. So again, Professor every Monday talks about the problem of this Nationality Act compared to the Constitution, where the two do not meet. You have to go on the side of the Constitution because the Constitution is your supreme law. But in any event, even if he was acting under the covering of the Bahamas Nationality Act, it still does not give the right, for instance, for persons to be in the country without any documentation on them proving who they are while their work permit is being processed, as is being suggested was the case here. If the immigration department could say, we don't know who these people are, how could you be processing an application for work permit? Are they done here? And you even ain't got no identification to say who you are.
Yes, it's too far. He was in rights to do it, but he was in breach of how you do it and how you give it. We understand that, so they mix it up. Have a good day, Michelle.
You too. Thanks for calling. All right. I think we have. Okay, it says we don't have another call. We lost the WhatsApp caller. All right. So there's no way around this one. There's some things that were done. I don't care how you slice it. That just it don't add up. Oil and water don't mix. And either we gonna go by what y'all say is the law, or we ain't. How you could justify that these people don't even have identification on them to say who they are, but yet they're here legally because their work permit is in process of it's being processed. But how their work permit being processed if number one, we don't even know who they are and how they get here, and number two, they're already here. Because according to your law, the way it's supposed to happen is if you're applying for a work permit for somebody, they're supposed to be out of the country. So the next question we need to be asking, based on the statement of the owners of the Hilton, is what an memorandum of understanding that make you think that this is okay? Things that make you go, do we need to see a copy of that? We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Miss Malcolm.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah. I know, Mr. Bell. I really was waiting on him yesterday. I was disappointed. I thought he was really gonna. Even though I told you on Tuesday, nothing coming out that.
Right.
Because I know the Prime Minister already gonna get the whole truth of this. But yes, I still was waiting to see if he still was gonna come to say something. And he should come and say something for, to let people know what is what. Now this all make it now look so, it looks so dark, cloudy.
Yep.
And I know I don't know how you sleep inside the nighttime, but I believe all things. Sometimes things happen for a reason, and I believe immigration is going to be a new turnover because things is not going to be the same how it's going to run up there. because a lot of changes, I believe, is coming inside the pipeline. And whatever situation happens, Mr. Davis just got to deal with it, make the hard decision, because this is what we vote for him for, and we told him, and he told us, he's going to turn over every rock, and whatever hiding under the rock, he's going to bring it out to the light. So we are waiting patiently to see what's going to come out of this matter. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Ms. Mark.
Thank you for calling. Yeah, everybody was standing by yesterday to hear what the minister had to say. Everybody. And to see that he did not have anything to say, at least not verbally, yeah, that's kind of concerning. Very concerning. To those of us who think beyond what we are fed and told. There's some people who ain't got no problem with none of this and really don't know what we're carrying on about. And, I guess they are entitled to feel that way. But for those of us who think outside the box and think beyond what is being sold to us, there's still too many unanswered questions. And it's not enough to say, oh, well, this is just how it always has been, or, y'all ain't do no better when y'all was there, so don't ask us. No. We ain't trying to hear that. Ain't nobody who cares about this country trying to get up. Now, the political diehards, they good with this. And even if they aren't good with this, they ain't gonna publicly say that. Because it's all about politics for them. But for the rest of us, we can need a little more. At least, let me speak for myself. I can't speak for everybody else. I just don't think that is sufficient of an answer. But that's just me. We may think differently, and we all have the right to agree to living in a free country. Okay, we're going to take a break. And then on the other side of the break, we're going to continue to talk about all of this because I still haven't gotten to those two clips yet. So we'll do that after this break. Stay with us. We'll be back with GPS in a moment.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
At Lee Air, safety is our #1 priority. Flying since 1996, we offer scheduled flights into Fresh Creek and Mangrove Key Andros and Great Harbor Key, Berry Island, twice daily, 7 days a week. Affordable charter services are also available to anywhere in the Bahamas and the Caribbean. Lee Air Charter Services. Call 225-3267, 702-7127, or 322-1317 for reservations.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 hyperimmune egg powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your longevity associate.
For all your building needs, it's Carib Construction and Project Management on Gladstone Road. We build it all: schools, homes, hotels, and more, including structures requiring a Phase 3 electrical contractor. We also provide project management services. The first step towards your dream building begins at Carib Construction and Project Management. Call us at 376-1556 or 341-4466.
One of the things I love about the Mailboat is their relationship with Bahamas Air. I can earn travel points on my international freight and redeem them when I fly.
For me, online shopping is easy with Mailboat's U.S. addresses and regular freight delivery to Nassau. Plus, I can always prepay customs and freight, and they always notify me when my package arrives.
Yeah, a lot of people think the Mailboat is just for shipping, but they also offer a safe and secure storage facility at affordable rates, all in a central, convenient location.
We also offer passenger service into Freeport multiple times per week with a seating capacity of over 450 persons. With family movies on large screens, one hot meal included, and on-board lounge for snacks and soft drinks. We're the Mailboat. We're bridging people, products, and places.
Executive Printers is your one-stop shop for all your branding and customization needs. Letterheads, envelopes, business cards, invoices, share and gift certificates, rubber stamps, vouchers, funeral programs, brochures, flyers, banners, and promotional items like mugs, water bottles, mouse pads, and key rings, all with personable service and great quality. No project is too small or too large. For great turnaround and competitive pricing, make an executive decision. Call us at 393-5011.
And we are back. Welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm here in your company on this cooler Thursday afternoon. If you haven't already done so, like and share the show. We are streaming live on YouTube as well as on Facebook on the official Michelle Malcolm Facebook page, as well as the Global 99.5 FM Facebook page. And you can also find us at Cable Bahamas Channel 974. The telephone numbers to call are 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272. The WhatsApp line for calls and messages is 8010271, 8010271. And we are available on Cable Bahamas Channel 974, or you can download the Global 99.5 FM app to your smart device and check us out there. And again, a huge welcome to all of you listening by way of radio. However you're tuned in, thank you so much for tuning in. I really, really, really do appreciate you guys a whole lot for being a part of the show. All right, so I want to read one more text. This one is coming in by way of WhatsApp. This is before we go to the sound bites. It says, I agree with you on the past with the British colonial system, but the world has changed since then. We would have had all that the citizens of Britain have today, and not this mess of 50 years of oppression by our own people. Texter, I have a suspicion that you're a very young person who doesn't quite know your history or what led to the push for us to become independent to begin with. Just so you know, and I invite you to go and do some research on this, but just so you know, initially, Sir Lyndon Pinling, who was in, not Sir Lyndon, but just Lyndon Pinling, was not keen on independence. He initially was not looking for independence. But there was a particular incident that took place that was sort of the straw that broke the camel's back that convinced him that independence was, in fact, something that we needed to do. And that was an incident in which the Americans wanted to dump nerve gas in the waters of the Bahamas near Abaco. And as much as the people of the Bahamas, the masses, said, no, no, we don't want this to happen here, because we had no control over our destiny, Great Britain agreed with to allow the United States to dump that nerve gas in the waters of the Bahamas. And that was one of the key factors which convinced Lyndon Bingley that, yeah, we need to be in charge of our own destiny. Because had we been in charge of our own destiny, these jokers couldn't do this to us. You need to know your history. You need to know what the Bahamas was like under British rule as a colony. And it's easy to say, well, you know, the world has changed. But, you know, you still got to know, we don't know to which degree the world has changed, to the degree where we would be benefiting from still being a colony. I suggest you do some research before you make that kind of a statement. Okay? Because when you don't have control of your own destiny, anybody can do anything to you. And they made it very clear that they could care less about us because they gave the Americans permission to dump that poison in our waters. Has it been perfect these last 50 years? No. Have we made mistakes along the world? Yes. But you show me one nation that has not had their fair share of problems as they mature into nationhood. Show me one where it has been completely perfect, where there have been no issues and no challenges to overcome. Show me one. The great United States of America is still grappling with democracy. Don't forget what happened on January 6th. So, you know, we're not perfect. No. We got our share of problems. Yes. But to say we should still be a colony, I personally don't agree with that. I'm sorry. No. That's my opinion. We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Yes, good afternoon, Miss Markham. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm fine. Okay, so I was just listening to your response to the WhatsApp message that you read in relation to the British colony. Now, while I agree with you 100% that, you know, underneath the British rule, there was reasons for Sir Lyndon to make us independent. But you have now the once British colony that looked at us Bahamians as poor little black nobodies. We could dispense with them, okay, and that was rough. But here it is now in 2023. We have our own looking at us as poor little black nobodies, because we have people like Fred who saying we don't need to be dictated to by the masses. The Bahamian people, they are nothing. We don't have to come out and say nothing to them. We don't have to explain ourselves and our actions to them. That's what I am getting from this whole mess concerning immigration. That our own are now looking at us as poor little black nobodies. Thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome. Let me just say this, that under British rule, we would have to just shut up and take it. As an independent country, we don't have to shut up and take it. You now have the ability to do something about it. That's the big difference. Yeah, they may be disrespecting us, but who keep putting them there? You now have the power to do something about it, whereas under the British rule, you did not. That's the big difference here. So if you continuously put the same people in again and again and again and again and again, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, that's on you. Because you have the power to do something about it. That is the difference. As a colony, you didn't have that right. So they could shove anything on you and you had to take it and had no rights. Now you got rights. You just got to start exercising them. That's the difference. That's the difference. All right. Let me play a couple more clips. So y'all would have heard all of what was discussed earlier on the show and all of the, the Prime Minister's response, the owners of the hotel, the ministry saying what they have to say. In spite of all of that, the leader of the opposition is like, this ain't making no sense. Let me go ahead and play this clip.
Again, it is shameful that the Prime Minister has not caused to happen and the Minister has not taken the responsibility to come to the House of Assembly to address this matter front and center. There is no excuse why the Minister has not spoken today. We have seen, just at a cursory glance, some comments that he made with respect to matters that I raised in my capacity as leader of opposition. I'm going to study that, and at 3 o'clock I will address those comments in my remarks in the House of Assembly. But on the surface of it, it's nonsense. How is the minister, and I say the minister because this statement could not have come from a public servant. This came from the political directorate using the ministry as cover, the same ministry whose officials and professionals they do not listen to and who they are seeking to victimize. Either transfer, put on leave, or intimidate. And so this statement released by the political directorate under the guise of the ministry talks about the persons who they found, the illegal workers, that they were legally in the country. Well, the director's memo and others in the ministry have made it clear they have no way of knowing if they were in the country legally. The minister has no way of knowing, or if he does, he should tell the public, because they were never processed. They were never allowed to be taken to the detention center to find out who had their documents, to evaluate the documents, to determine when they came in the country, how they came in the country, who facilitated on the government side or on the company side for whom they worked, how they got into the country. So he is in no position to say that they were in the country.
Okay, that was the leader of the opposition, Michael Pintard, yesterday, prior to his contribution to a House of Assembly debate. And I did watch a part of his contribution where he had a whole lot more questions that were put to the minister. So I don't know. The minister ain't answered the last set, at least not all of them. So I don't know. I don't have too much confidence that we'll get any answers to these new set of questions that are being asked now. Okay, so a couple of your comments. Somebody says no transparency or accountability. Somebody else says thank you, caller. So they're agreeing with the caller who talked about, us not being treated any better. But again, the big difference between then and now is you can do something about it, whereas back then you could not. So that's the point I'm trying to make. Um, that now, as an independent nation, the people have a right to make changes, to do what you need to do, to get what you need to have for better Bahamas. And if you choose not to exercise that right or that authority, then that on you. Because let's face it, the people in the House of Assembly ain't put themselves there. We put them there. You and I, those who bothered to go vote, we put them there. So we have a choice in the matter as to what we do when we are not happy with their performance. You only have no choice as a colony of Britain. I'm old enough to remember what life was like. I was a child, but I saw enough of it to know that this was not something I wanted for my future. So, yeah, at least now you could do something about it. If you ain't happy, fix it, change it, do something about it. Don't just sit back and say, oh, they treating us just as bad. Well, you allowing them to do so. You have the power. That's what y'all don't seem to get. You have the power. We have the power collectively. And that is the difference. Somebody's asking the question, what about police corruption in the Bahamas? What about it? You think, I ain't saying it's right, but you think police corruption don't happen elsewhere? Y'all got to be joking. The great United States of America got some of the most corrupt police on their forces throughout their country than anywhere else in the world. That's a problem everywhere you go. Our country ain't perfect. No. But don't act like, these problems that we are facing, that we the only ones who fit. No. Corruption in the police? Man, talk to me. Talk to me. They got some states, they got some situations in some particular states and the U.S. where they tell you, if you get stopped by the police, and especially if you're somebody of color, you best have somebody in that vehicle or whatever you call them. Don't do nothing. Don't make no quick moves. Even if you're only reaching for documents, because you could end up dead. I mean, look at all of come on, man. Come on. There's no country that is perfect. None. So let's not forget that when we are so quick to talk about the Bahamas being the worst country in the world. Trust me, we ain't perfect, but be far from that. Be far from being the worst in the world. We have a call on the line. Call back on the GPS.
Hey, good morning, Michelle. How you doing? I mean, good afternoon, Michelle. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Quick question. Let me ask you a question. Is the permanent secretary normally in charge of the ministry?
Pretty much.
So my thing is, do they allow to talk to the public or to the media? Because I'm trying to figure out these questions that are being put before. I would think that the permanent secretary will have the answer for those instead of Mr. Bell. I mean, I could be wrong.
You think that what?
The permanent secretary. The permanent secretary.
No, you dropped off there. Yeah, but
okay.
That doesn't. Even though the permanent secretary is pretty much the one who is supposed to be running the ministry, they don't have the right to discuss in public what is going on within that ministry.
Okay, that's what they wanted to know. Okay, no one knows that. Okay, all right.
Yeah, the Westminster system does not allow for that. Particularly when you're talking about calling people names and revealing personal information. No, they don't have a right to do that. And even though they are the ones who run the ministry, they still have to take directives from the minister. So a smart minister will take into account what the technocrats are recommending. Now, if that person suspects that there may be people planted within their organization from a previous administration for the purpose of creating mischief, well, then they need to operate smartly and, accept what that person is saying to them. But even if they have to scrutinize it even more to make sure that the advice that they're being given is good advice. But a smart minister understands the role of the PS. And, a smart minister will not blatantly go against what is being recommended unless they have reason to believe that what is being recommended is politically motivated. Okay? But if the person just doing their job as their job is supposed to be done, a smart minister would not go against that, because you will notice that governments come and go, ministers come and go, but those civil servants, they there for decades. They remain constant. And yeah, some administrations come in and put their people in place and move others around, etc. But the point is, most of these civil servants' careers outlast that of the politicians. So a smart politician, a smart minister will take into consideration that which is being recommended to them based on the technocrat who is actually responsible for running the day-to-day operations of that particular ministry. Okay? All right, one more break, and then we are going to wrap it up with, you know what? Let me play the clip before we go to the break. Let me play the clip. This is the final clip of the day, and this one is from former Prime Minister Hubert Minnis, who is, I don't know if to call this a promise or a veiled threat. I ain't sure what to call this, but I can let y'all hear it yourself and you determine what it is.
Literally, that's I will have to present more information to ensure that the member resigns from his post.
Thank you, Honorable
But
Member.
I would prefer not to go that road. I would prefer that the Prime Minister do his job. And I recommend to the Prime Minister that just as I had called Perry Christie, who was dealing with a matter, for advice, I ask and recommend that he has two former colleagues. He can call Perry Christie for advice, and he can call Hubert Ingram for advice. And I leave that matter now, and I will move into my debate.
Boy, it sounds like somebody got something else under their sleeve that they ready to whip out. What a time in Dumfries Church. Wow. The man said he would have preferred not to go that route, but since they don't want to do the right thing, I'm paraphrasing, you're going to have to bring out some more day. That's what it sounds like to me. Lord, I think it's going to be a bumpy ride ahead. So everybody now wants to see what he will be bringing forward. What a time, what a time, what a time. All right, let's take this break. And then on the other side of the break, we're going to wrap this thing up. Stay with us. This is GPS.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
Blood sugar levels play a key role in your appetite, weight gain, and overall health. When you have a blood sugar spike, you can feel confused, dizzy, and even have increased cravings. Eating carbohydrates, sugary or fatty foods, and not exercising can all cause blood sugar spikes. But now you have help in managing blood sugar levels. Sweeties by Longevity was designed to help support healthy blood sugar levels so you can power through your day. It's a synergistic blend of minerals, herbs, and nutrients that have been proven to support healthy blood sugar levels. Sweeties includes chromium, an essential trace mineral that's known for its contribution to healthy blood sugar levels and improved metabolism of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. Cinnamon bark has been included for its naturally occurring antioxidants and support of a healthy heart. And we've even added gymnema. It's been used in Ayurveda for centuries to help promote healthy blood sugar. All the ingredients in Sweeties work together to give the best support available for blood sugar control. Sweeties, the blood sugar support supplement from Youngevity that helps control cravings and manage blood sugar levels through your day. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for a rims, paints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Weston, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires, cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blasted love.
As you age, factors like health, weight, diet, and lifestyle can all impact your bones, joints, and general mobility. Even everyday exercise can lead to wear and tear on your body. Over time, you might start to experience stiffness or pain due to damaged joints or connective tissue. Ultimate Glucogel by Youngevity was created to help you limit the effects of wear on your joints. It delivers a daily dose of collagen-rich gelatin your body needs for joint elasticity and maintenance. Ultimate Glucogel contains a 1-to-1 ratio of gelatin and glucosamine sulfate, which is a key building block of your bone matrix, cartilage, ligaments, tendons, and connective tissue. Gelatin's unique blend of amino acids not only help with muscle and joint health, but also has been shown to provide additional benefits for the brain, skin, and hair. Ultimate Glucogel. Natural, optimal daily support for joint health. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Yo, 99.5.
All right, we only have a couple minutes left. I'm going to end the show reading a couple of your comments. This one says, Michelle, don't let these Bahamians put you in the middle of this FNM PLP controversy. Right now, this whole thing is the FNM and its cronies trying to get back in power and the PLP trying to stay in power. It ain't about us, the people, at all. Both of them did this garbage. Monty says, please make sense. The PLP is in power, and if you are listening to the show, or if you got the information, something is wrong with what took place. Haven't you lived long enough to see bad decisions both parties made are hurting us now? So should we bury our heads in the sand or somewhere else and play pretend until our children realize this Bahamas is no longer theirs? Anishka says, we all agree that both parties had the opportunity to create change to make the Bahamas better for Bahamians. Both parties did absolutely nothing. Bahamians now have a third choice. Okay, they are promoting their particular party. And this comment is coming in by way of WhatsApp. It says, point well taken, Michelle, but look at the British Virgin Islands. But I get that the decision had to be made. Then it just frustrates me that the Bahamas is in the way it is. Indeed, we voted for them. However, you really think we knew they would be the way they are? But the parliament was the post-independence are on, that we expect to treat us with dignity, do not. So then, do what you need to do to fix it. That's all I'm saying. You got a choice. Fix it. Don't just sit back and take it and complain, and you ain't willing to do what you need to do to fix the problem. Okay? All right. That's it. Time is gone. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's show. Tomorrow's an open line show where we talk about the week that was. Lots more news out there, believe it or not. Apart from this whole immigration saga, there's a lot going on. We're going to get to it all tomorrow. Until then, I'm Michelle Malcolm. God willing, I'll see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place. Have a good afternoon, everybody.
Global 99.5 FM reminds our listeners that the views and opinions expressed on this show are those of the host and guests.